Hey, this is Robert, and thank you for tuning in to the show. And yeah, this is, as you can see, I am still on the road today after a particularly busy weekend. And yeah, it's definitely been a lot. But regardless, thank you so much for watching. And today we're going to be talking with somebody who is funny enough, actually has something to do for an upcoming event that's going to be coming in November in Texas. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Cori Atkins or Chris Better. Am I saying it
Corey's better.
right?
Yeah, Corey's better, or yeah, just go by Corey.
Yeah, anytime. So, thank you so much for joining me today. And yeah, we're just going to be shooting the breeze and really just talk about whatever comes to mind.
Okay, of course.
Yeah, so I guess the first question is, how is 2024?
It's been okay. It's had its ups and downs for sure. I've had to move and lots of life problems, but working about to start a second job, getting voice acting back on the road, new covers coming out. Just kind of going with the flow as best I can.
Yep, anytime. Yeah, it's just kind of been all over the place for me. So, yeah, it's just kind of been, just ups and downs, but that's just kind of typical in every year.
Of course, yeah, totally.
Yeah, dope. So, I guess to start this off, tell us a little bit about, your covers or just anything new that you're working on. And yeah, let's hear
Okay. I do a lot of rock covers, a lot of video game covers, specifically for Sonic. I'm trying to branch out to do other things, but I have some upcoming ones in the works that do have to do with Sonic, so I am excited to announce those very soon. The tracks have already been mixed. I'm just waiting for the artist to get back to me, and the video will start getting edited. Um, Teaser, it is from Sonic Frontiers, so look forward to that. Other than that, just mostly along those lines. I like to sing mostly anything I can get my hands on. I like genres, but rock has been pretty much the one that I've stuck with forever. And now I'm diving into heavy metal, so look forward to some of that.
it. Man, that's some pretty exciting stuff you got there.
Yeah, it is. I'm like, super excited.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, there's so much that we could talk about singing and, all that jazz. But yeah, see what I did there. But I guess to really start this off, what is something that kind of got you, started? Like, was it something in particular or just got you into the Sonic fan? Like, what's your little, I guess, story or origin story, so to speak?
For specifically music or like getting into the fandom or just as a whole, like
Just getting started with, just being creative.
okay. I was really into music at a super young age. My mom used to show me musicals when I was like 3 or 4, and I started really getting into them. My household was always filled with music, and we would have like classic rock, 70s music, a lot of oldies. And I grew up watching my mom perform because she used to be in cover bands, she used to be in her own band. Um, and I wanted to do something like that, especially when it came to musicals. I originally wanted to go to school for Broadway. And so throughout high school, I started learning theater music, learning how to sing in choir. And that was kind of the road of my music journey. And then I started branching off to other things like rock and music. And whenever my parents would have gigs, I would go out and sing with them on stage. Uh, and after that, I started to work at a job that had nothing to do with music because I was saving up to move out. Once I moved out and I moved to Texas, I started branching off into voice acting and started to do more online covers. And that's when I saw the Sonic community. I had been into Sonic for a very long time, but I didn't know anybody who knew Sonic, so I was kind of like the only person in my school who talked about it or knew anything about it. But I've been like obsessed with that hedgehog and with that music scene forever. When I was 9, I started listening to Crush 40, and that kind of sparked the genuine interest in Sonic, but specifically on the music side of stuff. I didn't really play much of the games. I did get them, but the music is really what drew me to it. And I started having some fun, meeting some online friends, and I recorded a cover with someone, and they were like, "You need to get this cover out today." And I was like, "Cool, all right." And we got a whole cover out in one day, and it was the Vandalized cover that I have on my YouTube channel. And we recorded it the day Vandalized came out. We It took probably about an hour and a half probably to record vocals to get them mixed. And then I commissioned a friend to do the art for it, and then they finished that in the day, and then my friend finished doing the video, and in under 24 hours we had a song come out, and I was just overjoyed. It was so cool. And a little bit before that had happened, I got invited to um my goodness, Chaos Creators before Sonic Expo became a thing. It was a little festival that was here in Dallas, and Hiltonium had introduced me to Phoenix and said that I was a singer and they needed someone to perform on stage. And I was like, okay, cool. I can do that. I've never really done this by myself before. And so I did a little bit of a set, and it was some great hits like Escape from the City, Endless Possibilities, and I think I did some Sonic Forces as well. And she loved it so much, and she's one of my best friends. I love her. And then Sonic Expo started happening, and they wanted us back, but this time we became a band, and now we kind of do it a little professionally for Sonic Expo. So that was kind of how I got my start.
Wow, yeah, just going over from like musical Broadway and now look, here you are just kind of doing a lot of this mixing and, just doing the covers and, getting into Sonic, being a fan of, I love how you mentioned Crush 40 earlier because I feel like that is everyone's like, oh yeah, like the band Crush 40, kind of like the go-to ones, but there's a there's so many other, like I recently just went to Sonic Symphony here in
Mm-hmm.
LA, and there's like a lot of different bands that just went up on stage and just did covers. And yeah, like Crush 40 is definitely up there, but there's a lot of great ones. Like I mean, I could just talk about the music at Sonic all day long if I wanted to, but unfortunately I just don't have the time.
I totally get that. No, I love Crush 40. Crush 40 was the one that really got me into the vocal themes. And then I started listening to Bentley Jones, Ted Poley, oh my goodness, TJ Davis. There's so many amazing singers and so many amazing creators who got to perform for Sonic, and that's that's kind of my goal and dream as a musician, is to do what they do and sing on video game tracks. I think it's so cool.
Yeah, that would be not that would be so dope. I'm definitely rooting for you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, so since you mentioned that little blue hedgehog, I mean, like, as you can, I try to make it not so subtle here, but yeah, so you did say that you got into Sonic at a young age. Like, what was it about Sonic that just really appealed to you?
I honestly do not know what made me so hyper fixated on that little blue hedgehog. The first thing I started, actually, no, I think I remember I was in elementary school, and I didn't do a lot of reading. I think I read a lot of comics more than I read like novels. And at my library, we had a comic book section, and they had the Archie comics for Sonic there. And I was like, this is interesting. I've seen Sonic X on TV. I was like, this is cool. I thought that show was pretty silly. And then I started reading the comics, and I was just hooked. I loved the Archie series. I never like fully finished reading it. I just read whatever was in my library, and then watched more of Sonic X, and I just started like delving into the lore of that. And then when YouTube was more kind of popular, I would watch a lot of Sonic shorts. I would watch like AMVs of Sonic, and it just became a whole obsession from there. I Once I got like a Wii for the first time when the Wii came out, my mom bought me Sonic and the Black Knight, and I think a couple other Sonic games. And I I was banned from playing Sonic and the Black Knight at my household because I would play Night of the Wind nonstop around the house, and I got into so much trouble for doing it. Um, and honestly, with Black Knight, that kind of got me obsessed with the storybook games, and I would love to see some more in the future. Um, and after that had happened, like Sonic kind of went quiet for a few years. They still had some games. I wasn't really into Forces, and I wasn't really into some of the other 3D games that came out. I think after they had switched over to Roger, that was when like I stopped really doing anything with Sonic. And then the Sonic movie came out, and my whole addiction just came back on a whole switch. And I'm back where I'm at the age of 9, playing my games, singing songs, and then Frontiers came out, and I've just been hooked, and I don't think I'm ever gonna leave. And when I found the community, I'm like, all right, this is perfect place for me.
Yeah, it's just kind of like once you kind of find your people, you just cannot escape.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't escape from the city. Yeah, yeah. But no, I think it's kind of your story kind of is it's kind of similar to mine because like I grew up watching like I think it was the Adventures of Sonic cartoon and Sadie Am, and I'm in my mid 20s, so I started watching the series from like from the 90s stuff, and then as I got older, then I started getting into the Dreamcast, with Ryan and the all of those guys, and then we got to the Four Kids era with Jason and everybody else, and it was just kind of like Dan Green, Lisa, and so many other talented. If I'm leaving out anybody, like don't hurt me. Oh, okay, special shout out to Pete, Silver, who I've also had on the show before. So you're awesome, dude. But anyways, yeah. So it was the Four Kids that I started getting more interested in Sonic, even though it was kind of like the era where it was a lot of what is considered to be like the dark ages of Sonic. I don't even know if it's really the dark ages anymore because that was like so long ago. So now we're kind of starting to get games like Unleash. It's kind of funny how Unleash was at first considered to be a part of the dark ages, but now it's just kind of like a cult classic. So yeah, I I really do think that it's really funny how the longer you're in the fandom, the more like I think times and especially opinions definitely do change over time when it comes to a specific era for Sonic, you know what I'm saying? I think that's kind of what makes it really fascinating, but it can also be very exhausting if you've been in the fandom for long enough, for as long as I have.
No, I
But
totally
yeah,
get
that's a
that.
whole different can of worms altogether. So, but since you did mention like, Sonic Expo and a lot of these fan events, like for Expo, what kind of because I know you're also a singer, so what kind of, you know, how did you start getting involved with Expo?
um, I started getting involved with Expo through one of my buddies, Hiltonium. Um, like I said a little briefly before, when Chaos Creators was doing their little fan festival before Expo was even a thing, um, I was invited to perform a little showcase that they had. We had people like Polly B perform, we had Techno Cinema, we had Hiltonium himself, and we had myself, and it was a complete blast. I got to meet Jovi, I got to meet Phoenix, and they're one of my closest friends that I've had today. That I love them to death. Um, and Phoenix had been chatting with me after like the whole con thing, and they said that I was doing great, and they really liked my set, and we were talking a bit more, and this was around Frontiers was announced, but it hadn't come out just yet, and music was starting to be released. When Vandalize, I believe, was the first song that was released to the public that people could hear, and that's when Phoenix told me you should cover this song, and I was like, it just came out, I could get it done this weekend, and she was like, no, you got to get it out tonight, and so. Like I said before earlier, we got the song out in 24 hours, and I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And she was like, I was really inspired with your set for Chaos Curators that I want to do a whole concert. I want to do a whole convention. and Jovi and Phoenix have been working tirelessly on getting this together. It got together within a year. They created a whole convention, and when Sonic Expo happened, she was like, we'll need a band, and we'll need like a concert. We're gonna be like we're gonna perform on stage." And I was like, "Cool." And I was like, "How are we gonna do that?" And she invited one of my besties. She's from a whole other state, and we had to fly her out. I was so excited. My friend Kiza, she is another member of our band, and there are three members. It's Phoenix, me, and Kiza, and we're both singers. And we perform the Frontiers music, and we perform a whole bunch of other stuff from the Sonic games. And she was like, "Yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do a concert." And I was like, "This is exciting." And so and we were kind of brainstorming names for the band. And Phoenix said, "How about we call ourselves Sonic Rebirth?" And I was like, "That sounds amazing. I love that. I love having the idea of music being reborn in a new century and a new era that people can enjoy and listen to again." And then once Expo happened, we got to go on stage and got to see the legend Johnny himself perform as well. And after that, Phoenix was like, "Yeah, we're gonna stick with this band and we're gonna keep it with Expo." And so we'll be doing it again this year. So I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, right on. And for those keeping track, it's happening November the 8th to the 10th, if I'm not
Yeah, 8th
mistaken.
through the 10th. Yes.
Yeah, so literally a whole month away. So if you want to see Corey and every all of the guests that are going to be attending Expo, definitely have fun for me because I don't know if I'm going to be able to go. Yeah, it's just kind of a weird time in my life. So, yeah, I'll always be at, whatever symphony or revolution here in California, I'll always be going to those local California events. So, yeah, but after that, like, with Sonic Expo and everything, would you say that it was kind of like the event that's, you kind of feel like you started getting your name out there in a way?
I would say so. I think a lot of people in the community have started hearing my name more in the Sonic community than like other places like voice acting or the art community. Um, I think, after I did Chaos Creators and after I did Sonic Expo, I started making a whole bunch of new friends and a whole bunch of mutuals within the industry because they started hearing my name. They enjoyed the music that I did, and they've been just super supportive ever since. And I keep getting people being like, "Oh my God, I saw you at Expo." Or they'll be like, "Oh, you did that song with Victor McKnight, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I did." And it's really cool getting recognized for that kind of stuff. And I hope to be able to grow more into that field. I love it.
Yeah, is there anybody that you yeah, it's kind of an obvious question. One of the go-to ones, but anybody that you're inspired by, anyone.
Anyone? Does it have to be specifically a person or multiple people?
It can be multiple people and just
Okay.
anything.
I am very inspired by Johnny himself. Johnny was a huge inspiration for getting me into the genre of music that I'm in. I am extremely inspired by all of the voice acting that happened in Sonic as well. That all of the cast, Pete, Jason, Lisa, Ryan, um, even like Colleen and all of these amazing voice actors bringing these characters to life and making me fall in love with them every single time. Even if there's a new actor who voices Sonic, I still love it to this day. I think it's fantastic. I enjoy it. Those have been like my hugest inspirations, and I just keep going, and I love it so much.
Yeah, and I know that you kind of mentioned, I think it was Roger that you kind of started falling out of it, but then you kind of got back into it again with the movies.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I enjoy Roger's like performance and everything. It was more of the games that kind of like made me take a step back. I was like, I'm not really
Yeah.
enjoying this too much, but I still enjoyed
Yeah.
the content nonetheless. Like I still consumed it, and I was happy just getting any sort of Sonic content because it was kind of rare to see that kind of stuff when I was growing up. And now that I'm seeing it more and that it's becoming kind of mainstream, is kind of crazy to me because I was made fun of in school for liking Sonic and liking anything of that gaming side, and it's just neat to be like seeing someone on the street with like a Sonic shirt or a Shadow shirt, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's not terribly uncommon to just see t-shirts and it's everywhere.
It is. I'm so happy about it though. I'm so happy that the love is being spread and the community is spreading as well because it's such a very nice and welcoming community.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, we're literally having conventions and a whole symphony dedicated to Sonic. I mean, come on.
We are. Sonic Expo being the
A
biggest
world
convention in
tour
the world.
symphony.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
World Tour. I'm excited. I'm seeing them in December, and I
Hey.
have been waiting to see them since they announced the World Tour Symphony. But they would like come to Texas, but it wouldn't be anywhere near Dallas. So I'm like, I can't go to Houston or I can't go to San Antonio. These places are too far away. And then they
Aw.
finally came to Dallas, and we got our tickets like immediately when pre-sales went up. I was like, I'm not missing this, and I'm just absolutely stoked. I've seen so many good videos and good things about it, and I cannot wait to even have the opportunity to meet some of the bands. Like Shota, I would love to meet him. That'd be awesome. And meeting the singers and just the orchestra, I think it's going to be so cool.
You know what's really cool about the after the LA symphony that we just had a few weeks ago? They actually did a meet and greet and it was completely for free. So, yeah. It was you guys are the real stars, you know what I'm saying? So, thank you so much for letting me just for letting all of us just be ourselves, obnoxious and so dedicated to Sonic. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, but I really hope you have a good time though in December for Sonic Symphony.
I am
It's gonna be a
so
blast.
excited. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
recording everything. I'm probably gonna
Yeah,
dress up
dude.
for it too.
I still got oh yeah, please do. And also I still got like stuff on my phone that I haven't even posted because it was just like, oh okay, I'll just do just maybe one or two. And then I ended up almost recording like almost the entire thing and my data is I gotta clear some stuff out, man.
I totally get that.
Yeah, it's really dope. I guess since we've been talking a lot about the soundtracks, do you have any particular favorite Sonic songs?
Oh gosh, that's kind of like asking me who my favorite sibling is. You're
Your
asking
yeah, or your
me.
favorite kid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I think like as of right now for the music that I'm currently listening to, I'm
Mhm.
definitely favorite is Breakthrough It All or Undefeatable right now. But if we're talking about like a classic song that I've been really into, I really, really enjoy With Me from Black Knight. I don't know what it is about it. I love the duets with the two chicks. They're so good, and it's just always been a little favorite of mine that I'll listen to every now and then.
Yeah, so my top five favorites and this is in no order. Open Your Heart, Live and Learn, it's kind of obvious. Endless Possibility. Ooh, let me see, let me think. Believe in Myself, and I'm the Eggman. Yeah, I'm old school.
I enjoy all of them. I like it's hard picking a favorite because they're all really, really good.
Yeah, and for my top five favorite soundtracks, period, in general, definitely got to go with Sonic 2, Sonic 3, and Knuckles, both Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, and Black Knight. I guess a guilty pleasure of mine would be both the CD soundtracks,
Hmm.
like both Japan and US. I kind of have a soft spot for the US, but yeah, Japan definitely kills it.
I totally get that. I think my favorite soundtrack just with instrumental music, it's honestly Sonic Colors. I really
Hmm,
enjoy the level
that's
themes
interesting.
that they have. Specifically, I love the aquarium level theme for
Oh
the
my,
Aqua Park.
yeah.
That's one of my favorite ones, and I think level wise, it's the best game that has the coolest level music in my opinion. And it's just nice to even have in the background. I think it's
Oh
great.
yeah. And I gotta admit, even if the games aren't really the best, Lost World, I really do enjoy the soundtrack a lot.
Yeah. I'm really excited for any newer stuff coming out. I know Frontiers, I enjoyed the instrumentals for Frontiers for the islands. I liked
Yeah.
the whole vibe of it. I don't know. It was very I like the open world to it, and I liked the themes. I don't think it was too heavy or strong. I liked the like cyberspaces being EDM. I think that fit so well, but just like the world itself, the open world aspect of it being more of like a um I don't even know how to explain it. I know there's a lot of piano that gets played, which is my favorite thing. Um but it's just I don't get it. I think it's like a the Legends of Zelda vibe of being open world. It's just mystical music. Like it's not all rock, it's not all EDM. It's a nice blend. I don't know how to describe it. I think it's beautiful, and I cannot wait for what else they come up with in the near future.
Yeah. Oh man, now I'm just thinking about all of the instrumentals that I love listening to. '06 has kind of been like a nonstop banger for like recently. I mean, I know what we all '06 is kind of like a mixed bag, but you gotta admit the soundtrack just slaps.
Love O 06. O 06 is honestly as much as it gets dunked on, I
Yeah,
love
it
O
gets so much
06.
crap, and I don't think it's really fair,
I
personally.
think if we're talking about vocal themes, it has a killer vocal theme track, and
Exactly.
it honestly sparked my interest in Silver because Silver's one of my favorite characters in the whole Sonic
Yeah.
franchise, and I've been begging Sega, being like, please give him a game, please give him and Blaze more attention. I
Mm.
love them so much. I and Pete did a phenomenal job as Silver, and he's still my favorite Silver to this day. And it's someone that I hold him so dear. I love him so much, and the whole tracks, just instrumentals for any of O 06 is just beautiful. I love having it. It's amazing.
Yeah, like Pete, Erica, both of them are just absolute sweethearts.
Oh
And,
my gosh.
I would just keep running into Pete. Like I was recently at LA Comic Con this weekend and I just ran into the Dreamcast, some of the
Mhm.
Sonic voice actors, and I'm just like, okay, we really gotta stop meeting each other like this.
I had messaged Pete the other day because the King Ice, the necklaces that like Jason wears, the
Yeah,
silver
yeah,
ones came
yeah.
out. I
Hmm.
messaged him. I was like, "Are you gonna get it? Are you gonna match with Jason?" He goes, "Maybe." And then he went live on Instagram
Maybe.
and got it. And I'm so excited to see him rock it at Expo this year. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's so fun. But oh my gosh, like I know you mentioned Black Knight and some of the other ones, but do you have like any other favorite games?
Oh gosh. Frontiers definitely is on the list of favorite games. I love Unleashed. Unleashed is another one that I really enjoy. Soundtrack wise, story wise, I think it's great. Game mechanics wise, oh my gosh, beautiful. I love the plot of Unleashed. I Another game I really enjoyed. I enjoyed I did like Secret Rings. Playing wise, it wasn't that great, but I watched a whole playthrough on like YouTube just so I could get the story base since I struggled with the controls so much. I really did like it
God,
though,
yeah.
because I enjoy the storybook games. Like I said, Black Knight and Seven Rings was really fun. A really not really old, but one that I played when I was really young, was Sonic Rush. I played that on the DS all
Yo,
the time,
yeah.
and that was kind of my first introduction
That's
to
actually
handheld
my
games.
my nephew's favorite game, Sonic
Mhm.
Rush.
Also, soundtrack beautiful, amazing. Bossa Nova. I love all of the music in Sonic Rush, and it. I'll hear somebody will play like a clip from it, and I'm like, I know exactly what level that is because I got stuck on that so many times.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Every time the Seven Rings in Hand or Rock the Place, every time they play, I'm just like, yeah, they're really good themes, but Seven Rings in Hand, I remember the frustrating levels. So I'm just kind of like, I love that song, but flashbacks.
Moving away
So,
from specifically Sonic, I liked Shadow the Hedgehog for the Xbox because I when
yo,
my
Shadow,
grandparents
yeah, he's been getting so much love this year,
I
like
am
literally at Symphony,
so
screaming
excited.
nonstop.
He is my other favorite character. Him and Silver have been like are my top two. And when my grandparents have an original Xbox, the first one that came out, and I went through every single pawn shop, every single resale store that you could think of to find this game because I couldn't find it anywhere. And I found it Oh my gosh, I played the crud out of it. Did I beat it? No, because I'm not good at video games, but I loved it. The soundtrack is so good. Who I Am, oh my goodness, I'm All of Me, a whole bunch of other stuff. That's another game that I really enjoy as well.
Yeah, so after talking about the Blue Blur, since we're kind of near the end of the year, like, what is something that you would like to see from Sonic in the near future? Because I know they're doing a lot of stuff with Shadow right now, but what is something else? Like, I know you mentioned a Silver Blaze, but what else would you like to see from Sonic?
I'm really interested if we're going to get any spin-off games for individual characters like Tails or Amy, because at the end of Frontiers, when they all just kind of went to do their own thing, I'm wondering if they're going to branch off into doing something with them, and that would be really interesting and cool for the lore and the plot. And I would be so excited to see what comes in that direction.
Yeah, and any thoughts on the movies?
I'm excited. I think they cast really well for the movies. I'm excited for Shadow for being Keanu. Spoiler if you don't know. I mean,
I mean, I think everybody kind of knows by now.
I'm really excited. As much as the movie is its own universe, I enjoy any piece of Sonic media that I can get my hands on. And any show that I've watched not, if not all, I have watched so much Sonic media. I've watched Sad I Am, I've watched Sonic Underground, I've watched The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. I've watched almost every single TV show that has come out, including Sonic Prime. And I love that they're their own individual universe and have their own story and plot line and their own characters. And I'm excited for to see where the movies plots and stories have for their timeline.
Yeah. And the comics also kind of did this multiverse type of thing where it's kind of like, yeah, and also the comics are like really, really very well written, a little sloppy in some places, but you know what? I enjoyed it all the same. And you know what? It's just kind of like the little aesthetic that just makes me a fan of Sonic and just what made me fall in love with Sonic in the first place. And I'm looking forward to see what they're gonna do next for the comics as well.
Yeah, I started recently getting into IDW, I think about a couple years ago. I didn't know it existed because I knew about Archie, but I didn't know about IDW. And IDW led me to Adrenaline Dubs, and that's how I kind of joined on that crew.
Hey,
And after they started, like, I started watching their videos more and I started understanding more the IDW stuff. I was just it all over again, a whole other universe. I was already like into it, and then when they started focusing and having more stuff with like Silver and all these other characters and Chaotix and bringing in new characters and Tangle and Whisper and having their own separate stories, I was like, this is my kind of jam. I love that they're actually focusing on other characters other than like the main three or like, you know, the main cast as well. And I'm excited to see what they do. I need to read the Riders one because Riders was another story that I enjoyed, and I love that they brought Jet in them for their own little thing for like the Phantom Rider and all that kind of stuff. I'm excited.
yeah, and I'm pretty sure it was Adrenaline. I think that's kind of how we crossed paths, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably. I mean,
Probably.
I post a lot in the community, and I know
Yeah.
I have done some acting for the Adrenaline Crew, some art, and I used to post silly little dubs of Sonic characters that I was doing. And I don't
Yeah.
remember how we stumbled upon each other, but I remember you sending me a DM about something.
Yeah, I think it was to voice Maria or one of the comics that I did, and then we just kind of started working together since then.
Yeah, we
It's just
did.
crazy how it just kind of snowballs from there. And now
Yeah.
here we are, podcast. Who would have thunk it?
Yeah, exactly. It's been a blast. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and there will be plenty more coming out soon, so stay tuned on Twitter or YouTube or wherever I post these. Yeah, and is that also where you how you met Corey, if I'm not mistaken? Corey Wilder, for those who do.
Yeah, I met him through, well, it was kind of I met him through friends before I got into like, I mean, I was in my Sonic stuff, but he wasn't really into the other the servers that I was in. And That's when he started delving more into Sonic stuff around the time I met him. But yeah.
Yeah, and then that's how you guys kind of just connected from there.
And we're still really good friends and everything after the whole Sonic stuff. And yeah.
Yeah, and I just also want to say, Corey, thank you for voicing Sonic in a couple of the stuff that I did. So yeah, anytime if you're open, hit me up. If you want to do something like this, self-plugging, plug. And yeah, congrats on getting into all this anime stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's all I can say. But I don't really have much else to say, but I guess thank you so much for joining me, and we'll probably close this off and out in the next part. But until then, if you like this episode, like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for the finale coming shortly. Bye. Hey, welcome back, and yeah, we're just about to wrap it up. I just want to thank you so much for, just being here today, and you know, just indulging in Sonic, gushing about a blue hedgehog, and just telling us about just being a part of the fandom. So, yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I wish you all the best with music and everything else. But before we close it out, what is something, because you mentioned that you're working on a lot of music and stuff, but if you were to promote anything that's coming out or just stuff that you wanted to give a special little plug, what would it just tell what stuff that you're going to be doing in the future?
I mean, expect more covers for sure. I also stream. I have a PNG tuber for right now, but a VTuber is in the works. So if anyone wants to pop by on my streams, it's Damon Imp. It is an 18 plus server or like streaming. So like make sure you're an adult whenever you join. But I will have an open stream where anybody can join, which is going to be more my art streams. I do a $5 sketch streams where people request $5 and they'll tell me what to sketch up, and I'll sketch it up to them and I'll send it to them. Promoting Sonic Expo. Make sure you come out. It's November 8th through the 10th. It is a 3-day event now and not 2 days. We're going to have a rave. There's the concert. There's vendors. There's Artist Alley. There's voice actors. There's content creators. There's so much that you guys can come and check out. As for covers, I'm going to keep that a secret a bit. If you want to check out my TikTok, which is just Cori does the cosplays, you can see some teasers on there. And if you follow my Twitter at Cori's Better, I'll be posting some more teaser stuff for my covers. And yeah.
That is a lot. And where can people check out your stuff?
My stuff. Okay, I have my YouTube, which is just Cori Adkins. You can hear some songs if you look up my name, Cori Adkins, on Spotify with music that I've already done. I'm still in the process of making an artist account, having to battle Spotify right now. But you can hear music on YouTube. You can hear my music on Spotify, iTunes. If you check out Techno Cinema stuff and and Victor McKnight, I have stuff with them. And yeah, and my Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Cori Adkins. You can follow me on there. I think that's it.
Yeah, any last final thoughts that you want to say?
Thank you for having me on. It was so much fun.
Yeah, and if there's any bit of advice that you want to give out before we close, what would it be and why?
Don't give up on something that people say you can't do, because if you truly love it, stick with something that you love.
Yep, I guess pretty much well said. That's kind of what I would say too. Let's see, any extras? I guess you could probably say goodbye as yourself or as Maria, a
That's
character.
Maria. Bye. Thank you guys so much for coming out. My outros for stuff is have a great morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you. Or I'll say bye.
Yep, bye bye. And until next time, this is Robert, and oh, one last little plug. Support the video game strike, and yeah, it's quite a battle, but I know that we can definitely do it. I mean, look at that. I got this, and you know, buttons because why not? So, thank you for watching and have a lovely rest of the year. Take care of yourselves and remember, stay keep being creative, stay happy, and stay positive, and stay cool as big and blue as Sonic, as he would say in Sonic Adventure 2. So, later, guys. Bye bye. Yeah, this is happening.